Hey, keep your hands where I can see them.
What's going on?
What's your name, my man?
What? Adam.
Adam. You have anything on you?
No.
You got a couple detectives that are coming down to talk to you.
Okay. For what?
What's that?
For what?
People are wondering where Harmony is.
I don't want to talk to him.
This was the moment when Adam Montgomery realized the cops had uncovered his horrifying secret. It all started when authorities began searching for his missing daughter, 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery. The hunt for answers had stretched on for nearly 5 years before they finally caught up with Adam.
Hey, can you make me a promise? Like, man to man? Can you tell me that she's alive?
Harmony Montgomery was born on June 7, 2014. From the beginning, her life was filled with challenges. She was blind in her right eye and faced a series of misdiagnoses early on. Harmony's mother, Crystal Sorey, lost custody of her when she was just a few months old, setting in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to tragedy. Before we explore the chilling details, we need to go back to the beginning. Harmony Montgomery, a life of struggles. Harmony's short life was marked by instability and challenges from the very start. Born to Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery, her parents' tumultuous relationship and personal struggles would shape her early years. Crystal Sorey was battling addiction when Harmony was born. Despite her love for her daughter, she struggled to provide a stable environment. Adam Montgomery, Harmony's father, was behind bars when she came into this world, absent during her crucial early months. At just 3 months old, Harmony was removed from Crystal's care due to concerns about neglect and her mother's ongoing substance abuse issues. This early separation would be the first of several disruptions in Harmony's young life. Harmony was placed in foster care with Tim and Michelle Raftery. Michelle, a behavioral health partner with experience as a foster parent, welcomed Harmony into their home.
And after about 3 months after she was born, who did she go to live with?
Michelle Rafferty.
And do you know Michelle?
Very well.
The Rafterys provided Harmony with stability and care during her time with them.
Who do you live there with?
My husband and 3 of my children.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a behavioral health partner
And how long have you done that?
for a year.
Prior to that, what did you do for a living?
I was a FRL, a family resource liaison.
And can you explain what that is to the jurors?
Yes, I work with foster parents and I help support them and run support groups and trainings for them.
Do you have any experience as a foster parent yourself?
Yes, I do. Over 13 years.
And can you tell the jury about that experience?
Yes, we had the privilege of being Harmony's foster parents.
And you mentioned the name Harmony just now.
Yep.
Who is she to you?
She was our foster daughter.
What did she call you?
Mama. So she came to us at 2014.
And tell us about that.
Yep. So you always start off with, you get a phone call from DCF and they tell you a little bit about the child. And Harmony was 2 months old at the time, and she had a pretty intimidating diagnosis at first. So, I did a lot of Google research, but I still knew that we wanted to say yes, and Harmony came and lived with us when she was 2 months old.
However, Harmony's time with the Rafterys was not permanent. She would return to their care multiple times over the next few years as the system attempted to reunite her with her biological mother.
How long was Harmony in your care for?
So, which time? We took care of Harmony 3 times. She came back into care 3 times. So for the first time, she was with us for about 2 months. Then she returned to her mother, and then she returned to us. And then she stayed with us for about a little over 2.5 years, and then she went back with her mother, and then came back 10 months later.
This cycle of moving between foster care and her mother's custody created a sense of instability for young Harmony. Each transition brought new challenges and adjustments for the young girl. During this time, Adam Montgomery was released from prison and began visiting Harmony. These visits were sporadic, with Adam suddenly stopping his visits for a period before resuming them again. The Department of Children, Youth, and Families was involved in Harmony's case throughout this period. They monitored the situation, facilitating visits between Harmony and her parents, and making decisions about her custody arrangements. A troubled family history. Adam Montgomery's negative chapter started since his birth. Born to teen parents, he was placed in the custody of his paternal grandparents. Very soon, his grandfather passed away, and he started living with his grandmother in New Hampshire. His behavior soon started becoming troublesome. As he turned 17, he threatened his neighbor and even assaulted his own grandmother. Later that year, Adam was found in a McDonald's restroom with his uncle Kevin Montgomery in possession of heroin and a knife. Kevin Montgomery, Adam's uncle, would later play a significant role in Harmony's story. Despite his own involvement in Adam's early criminal activities, Kevin would become a key witness in the case, reporting concerns about Harmony's welfare. Adam's criminal history continued to grow. In 2014, he was arrested and remained behind bars. When he was released, he started residing in a house in New Hampshire with his wife, Kayla, and his 2 sons. This pattern of criminal behavior and substance abuse would continue to plague Adam's life, creating a volatile and dangerous environment for those around him, especially young Harmony. Meanwhile, Crystal Sorey, Harmony's mother, was battling her own demons. Her struggles with addiction led to her losing custody of Harmony multiple times. The cycle of addiction and attempts at recovery would become a recurring theme in Crystal's life, directly impacting her ability to care for her daughter. Despite Crystal's efforts to regain custody, her addiction continued to be a barrier. She later explained her struggles during an interview.
Did you try to reach out through the months of May and June?
Yes,
What about in July?
I believe so.
Did you receive any phone call from Kevin Montgomery, Adam's uncle, in July?
Yes,
I'm not going to go into the detail of what was said, but after that call, did you continue these efforts you talked about before, trying to get in touch with Adam?
yes,
And what about September of 2019? Were you trying to get in touch with Adam then?
yes,
What about October and November of 2019? Were you trying to get in touch with Adam then?
yes,
Christmas of 2019?
yes,
In touch with him then?
yes,
Were any of those successful?
no,
Did you see or hear from Harmony at all during that time period?
no,
What about the following year, in the year 2020? Did you try to get a hold of Adam and Harmony?
yes, I had made a new Facebook hoping, because he had blocked me and so did Kayla, I was hoping to get through to him that way.
Crystal's desperate attempts to reach Adam and Harmony highlight the breakdown in communication and the increasing isolation of Harmony from her mother. The fact that Adam and Kayla had blocked Crystal on social media adds another layer to the troubling family dynamics at play. This troubled family history set the stage for the tragic events that would unfold in Harmony's life. Both her parents' struggles with addiction and criminal behavior created an unstable environment, leaving Harmony vulnerable to the system's failures. It becomes clear that she was born into a world of chaos and instability. The adults in her life, who should have been her protectors, were themselves grappling with their own demons. This toxic environment would have profound consequences for young Harmony. The involvement of Child Protective Services and the foster care system in Harmony's life was a direct result of her parents' inability to provide a safe and stable home. However, as we will see, even these systems designed to protect vulnerable children would fail Harmony in crucial ways. The custody battle. In December of 2018, Massachusetts DCF requested their New Hampshire counterparts to conduct a home visit and evaluate Adam Montgomery's ability to care for Harmony. This evaluation, known as an ICPC report, Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children, is typically a lengthy process, often taking months. However, with the hearing fast approaching, this one was expedited. During this time, DCF held an internal meeting and determined that Crystal Sorey, Harmony's mother, was unstable in her sobriety and inconsistent with her visits to see Harmony. Meanwhile, Adam had shown renewed interest in Harmony's life and was compliant with DCF requirements in the lead-up to the hearing. As a result, the review panel changed their permanency goal from reuniting Harmony with her mother to reuniting her with Adam. But just 1 week later, DCF held another internal meeting and reversed their decision yet again, returning the goal to adoption. At this point, Harmony was 4.5 years old and had been in DCF's sole custody for much of her life. Then came February 2019, the pivotal custody hearing. Harmony's mother, Crystal, missed the hearing entirely. The courts had double-booked her, scheduling Harmony's hearing at the same time as her son's. In a tragic twist of fate, Crystal was forced to choose between her two children, and she chose to attend her son's adoption hearing, leaving Harmony's future in the hands of the court and her attorney. She explains her absence.
So Jameson's case, because he was born in Boston, his case was out of Boston. I had to pick between the two hearings, and it was basically, if I was at either one of them, if I wasn't at either one of them, it was going to go bad for me. So I called my lawyer frantic in Lawrence, and I said, I sent over from that courthouse to the other courthouse that I was proof that I was there. He said, I will, quote, fight for a continuance. That never happened. There was no continuance granted, there was no continuance fought for, and they moved forward and handed him custody. So in the same day, not only did my son get adopted, but my daughter got handed over to the one person that I begged them never to give her to.
Crystal's absence at this critical hearing would have significant consequences. She expressed her frustration with the court's decision.
I thought they would give me a chance to go to that court date, you know, like give me a week, you know, just to make it to that court date for Harmony, you know, because I had made it to every single court date, every visit, every class they made me do. I did everything they asked, and they couldn't even give me a continuance.
Harmony's hearing was attended by 4 lawyers, one for Massachusetts DCF, one for Crystal, one for Adam, and one representing Harmony. Adam's lawyer painted a picture of him as a competent, fit father. Adam himself testified about his life, attempting to present himself as a stable parent. Physically, he looked the part, young, clean-cut, married, and now the father of 2 boys, one of whom had just been born a few weeks before the hearing. His wife, Kayla, and possibly their children were present in the courtroom, creating a visual image of family stability. Shockingly, Crystal's lawyer made a statement early on that she had spoken to Crystal, who supposedly supported Harmony being placed in Adam's custody. This claim would later infuriate Crystal, who told News Nation in an interview that she had been unfairly represented during the hearing. Even more shocking, Harmony's own attorney expressed that Harmony herself had communicated her preference to live with her father. Despite Harmony having spent only about 40 hours with Adam over the course of her young life, the attorney took her words at face value and endorsed her placement with Adam. The only lawyer to oppose this decision was the attorney representing Massachusetts DCF. They argued that Adam was unfit to care for his daughter, citing his extensive criminal history and his lack of presence in Harmony's life. The DCF attorney urged the judge to at least delay the decision until the ICPC report could be completed, providing a fuller picture of Adam's ability to provide for Harmony. What was notably absent from the hearing, as later pointed out in a scathing report by the Office of the Child Advocate, was any discussion about Harmony's special needs. This little girl had a medical condition that left her blind in one eye, along with significant emotional and behavioral challenges stemming from her tumultuous upbringing. There was no evidence that Adam had ever taken the necessary steps to understand or provide for her unique needs. Despite the glaring issues, the judge made a decision that would later be heavily criticized. 3 out of the 4 attorneys in the room seemed to agree that Adam was fit for custody, and the judge followed their lead. In a sweeping ruling, the judge granted Adam full custody of Harmony. They waived the need for the ICPC report, closed Harmony's case with DCF, and even made phone calls to New Hampshire to ensure that Adam would gain custody despite the lack of a completed report. This decision would soon become the center of intense scrutiny. The OCA later criticized the judge's ruling for failing to follow Massachusetts case law, and even New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu weighed in, writing a letter to the Chief Justice of Massachusetts, calling for an investigation into how such a decision could have been made. But in February 2019, the case was closed, and Harmony was handed over to her father, a man who had barely been a part of her life and who would soon be accused of committing unimaginable acts. This court ruling would set the stage for a series of tragic events that would forever change Harmony's life. Harmony's move to New Hampshire. Things moved swiftly after the February 2019 custody hearing. Within a week, Adam Montgomery took Harmony from Massachusetts and moved her to New Hampshire. He was living at 77 Guilford Street in Manchester, a small 3-bedroom home owned by his grandmother. She had recently moved to Florida, leaving the house to Adam, who lived there with his wife, Kayla, their 2 young sons, and Adam's uncle, Kevin Montgomery. Despite the move, Crystal Sorey still had occasional contact with Harmony. On Easter of 2019, Crystal had a FaceTime call with her daughter. What Crystal didn't realize at the time was that this would be the last time she ever saw Harmony. In June 2019, Adam's uncle Kevin moved out of the house. Before leaving, he contacted New Hampshire's Division for Children, Youth, and Families, reporting that Adam and Kayla were using drugs and that the house had no electricity, forcing the family to rely on a generator. This marked the first time DCYF became involved with Harmony's situation in New Hampshire. DCYF and Manchester police responded to the complaint but found the family powering essential appliances like the refrigerator using the generator. On July 29, 2019, Kevin Montgomery returned from Florida and noticed something disturbing. He reported that Harmony was being abused.
When you got home, did you see Harmony there?
I did.
Where did you see her?
I seen her standing in the kitchen.
And when you saw her in the kitchen, how did she look to you?
She had a black eye.
Can you describe it for us? How did the black eye look?
Full, like a raccoon's eye. Black and blue.
Black and blue?
Yes.
So when you saw her in the kitchen with this black eye, what, if anything, did you say?
Something along the words of, "Oh my fucking God, what did you do, Harmony?"
And who answered that question?
My nephew Adam.
Where was he?
Standing right behind her.
Did Adam tell you why he bashed her around the house and caused the black eye?
He did.
What did he say?
He said he was in the bathroom moving his bowels, and that he put Harmony in charge to watch Declan, and when he came out, her hands over his mouth, and I guess his lips were supposedly blue. That's what was explained.
That's what Adam explained to you?
Correct.
And after he explained that, how did he say he caused the black eye?
By bashing around the fucking house.
The abuse was supposed to end, and Adam should have been stripped of his parental rights. But on the same day, a social worker from DCYF named Demetrios visited the Montgomery home. Oddly, as Adam was leaving with Harmony in the car, Demetrios didn't question either of them about the abuse allegations. Instead, he relied on Kayla's explanation that Kevin had bad blood with Adam and was simply causing trouble for the family. Despite the house being messy and smelling of dogs, Demetrios deemed it safe, but he failed to investigate further.
Who did you tell about what Adam told you and seeing the black eye? Who did you tell?
You want names?
Yes, please.
I told my mom, my son's mother, Christina, sister, Erin, my brothers, Sean, Michael, and Richard. I told one of Adam's friends, Nick and Aaron.
Why did you tell all of these people?
To get help.
Help for who?
For Harmony.
The house was listed for sale around the same time. Within 45 days, it was sold for $187,000, and the new owners would soon need to evict Adam and his family. On August 7th, Demetrios returned for a scheduled visit. During this visit, he saw Harmony's injury near her eye, still healing. Adam provided a new explanation, claiming that his son accidentally hit Harmony with a toy lightsaber. Harmony, echoing her father's story, seemed in good spirits and was watching a movie. Adam's calm demeanor reassured the social worker, and no further action was taken. However, Adam's problems were far from over. By late September, Adam had stolen 2 guns from a local couple, a crime that wouldn't catch up with him until later. As a convicted felon, he wasn't allowed to possess firearms, adding to the growing list of serious concerns surrounding him. In November, the situation took a turn for the worse. Kayla was fired from her job at Dunkin' Donuts, and the family was officially evicted from the Guilford Street home. With nowhere to go, Adam, Kayla, their sons, and Harmony were now living out of their car. They parked outside the apartment complex of a friend and drug dealer known as Anthony Tone Capone Bodero in Colonial Village, a large complex with hundreds of units. By early December, the Montgomery family was unraveling. Their vehicle had been damaged in an accident. They were homeless, Kayla was unemployed, and both she and Adam were deep into heroin and crack cocaine use. Harmony, just 5 years old, was stuck in the middle of this chaos. She was having accidents in the car, and the conditions around her were deteriorating quickly. Everything spiraled out of control on the morning of December 7th, 2019. Day of Harmony's murder, December 7th, 2019. It was the early hours of December 7th, 2019, when the events leading to Harmony Montgomery's tragic death began to unfold. Around 2 o'clock or 3 a.m., Adam woke to discover that 5-year-old Harmony had soiled herself. What followed was a monstrous act of violence. Instead of helping her, Adam lost control. According to Kayla, Adam punched Harmony in the face 10 to 15 times in rapid succession. By 7:04 a.m., Kayla had left for a local clinic to get her dose of methadone, and Adam followed her just 5 minutes later. Once they returned to their car, Adam noticed that Harmony had had another accident. Frustrated that she wasn't informing them when she needed the restroom, Adam's fury escalated. Harmony was seated in the back, right behind Adam. As he drove, he turned over the center partition and struck her repeatedly, landing sets of 3 to 4 blows to her head and face over the course of several minutes. After the final set of punches, Adam looked at Kayla and said, "I think I really hurt her this time. I think I did something." Harmony moaned weakly for a few minutes before falling silent. They were driving on Route 3, headed toward a Burger King in Manchester. But by then, the damage was done. After returning to the Colonial Village apartment parking lot, Adam's focus wasn't on Harmony, but on getting high. He told Kayla to fetch heroin and fentanyl from their dealer, Tone Capone. The couple sat in the car for about 20 minutes using drugs, while Harmony's condition worsened. They resumed driving later that morning, but as they reached the intersection of Elm Street and Webster, their vehicle, a Chrysler Sebring, broke down. The car was crowded with their 2 sons, Adam, Kayla, and Harmony. As they tried to bundle up the children in the cold, it became apparent that something was seriously wrong. Harmony wasn't responsive. When they checked her, they discovered she wasn't breathing and had no pulse. Harmony Montgomery, at just 5 years old, was dead. Adam knew they had little time before the situation would attract attention. He acted quickly. Grabbing a large duffel bag from the back of the car, Adam improvised. With the car stalled only a quarter mile away from the Colonial Village apartment complex, they decided to walk back. Kayla carried the boys, while Adam carried the duffel bag containing Harmony's lifeless body. Once back at the apartment complex, Adam and Kayla turned to their dealer, Tone Capone, for help. Tone offered them a temporary place to stay, the back of his Audi S4 parked in the same lot. Meanwhile, the police found the abandoned Sebring just after noon and had it towed within an hour. Neither Adam nor Kayla ever attempted to recover the car, which eventually ended up in a salvage yard. Harmony's final resting place remained unknown to the authorities, hidden away by the very people who should have been protecting her. December 2019 to March 2020, the movement of the body. For the next 3 months, Harmony's body became an unsettling burden that Adam Montgomery carried with him, moving it between hiding spots like a dark secret. After her death on December 7, 2019, Adam, Kayla, and their 2 surviving children lived out of their dealer's Audi S4 for a couple of days, while Harmony's body lay in the trunk, wrapped in a duffel bag. To slow decomposition, Adam often left the bag outside in the cold New Hampshire weather. On December 8th, just a day after Harmony's death, the Montgomery family left the Colonial Village parking lot, as recorded by location data later recovered by police. They eventually moved into the Manchester apartment of Kayla's mother, Christina, who lived at 258 Dubuque Street with her boyfriend, John. With no vehicle, Adam and Kayla relied on others to get around, all the while keeping Harmony's body close by. At times, her remains were stored under the porch, but for most of their time at Dubuque Street, Harmony's body was hidden in a red cooler in the common corridors of the apartment house. The winter's chill helped slow the body's decomposition. In the week between Christmas and New Year's, Adam, Kayla, and their 2 boys moved to the family's in-transition shelter in Manchester. For 2 months, Harmony's body was hidden in the ceiling of their small unit, stashed above the bunk beds where they slept. The confined living conditions, combined with the warmth of the heated space, caused the body to start emitting a foul odor. In a desperate attempt to contain the smell and the decay, Adam wrapped the duffel in plastic trash bags. Not surprisingly, complaints about the smell soon followed. Maintenance crews visited the unit multiple times, but chalked it up to a dead animal after Adam moved the duffel to a closet and cleaned the ceiling area. Around this time, DCYF made a visit to the FIT shelter on January 8th after receiving a call about the family. Adam told the social worker that Harmony was with her mother in Massachusetts, and later that month, DCYF left Crystal Sorey a voicemail asking to confirm Harmony's location. Crystal didn't return the call, and tragically the alarm about Harmony's disappearance would not be raised for another 21 months. By mid-January, Adam had found work at Portland Pie Company in Manchester as a dishwasher and cook. On February 7th, Kayla walked to his workplace, pushing a stroller that carried both her boys and a large plastic bin. Inside the bin, Harmony's body, still concealed in the duffel bag, was stashed. For a week or 2, Adam stored the duffel in the cooler at Portland Pie before returning it to the FIT shelter. Around February 20th, 2020, the Montgomery family moved to their final home together, an apartment on Union Street in Manchester. But the gruesome secret remained with them. When the plastic tote bin began leaking, Adam transferred the duffel into a trash bag and placed it in their refrigerator. One day, Adam took Harmony's body from the fridge and brought it to the bathroom. Over the course of several hours, with the shower running, Adam and Kayla removed her clothes and cleaned the fluids from her body. Despite the decomposition, Kayla later recalled that Harmony was still recognizable. Finally, Adam transferred Harmony's remains into a smaller maternity bag, branded with the logo of the Catholic Medical Center. The movement of Harmony's body came to an end on March 3rd, 2020. That day, Adam convinced a friend to help him rent a U-Haul van. Later that night, after smoking crack cocaine in a hotel room, Adam left with the van and the maternity bag containing Harmony's body. He returned several hours later, telling Kayla that, "It's done." License plate records show the U-Haul passed through tolls on the Tobin Bridge in Boston multiple times, but Adam never revealed where Harmony's body was taken. Adam returned the U-Haul the next day, having driven 133 miles. The mystery remains of those 21 extra miles unaccounted for. Where Harmony's body ended up during those final hours, no one knows for certain. 2021. Harmony Montgomery is reported missing. The year 2021 marked a critical turning point in the search for Harmony Montgomery. In March, Kayla made a significant move. She took her 3 children and left Adam. She later revealed that Adam had physically assaulted her, a violent pattern that had occurred multiple times during their relationship. Kayla sought refuge with her mother, moving back in with her at her apartment in Manchester. Meanwhile, Crystal Sorey, Harmony's biological mother, began to show renewed interest in finding her daughter. On June 27th, she posted a slideshow of Harmony's pictures on TikTok, publicly expressing her frustration. A month later, Crystal commented on her own video stating, "She's not quite missing. Her father has her and hasn't let me see or talk to her in 2 years. For no reason, but just to hurt me. She's in Manchester somewhere. I need to find her." This marked the beginning of a search for Harmony that would soon gain momentum. By September, one of Crystal's friends contacted New Hampshire DCYF and reported that Crystal had not seen Harmony since April 2019, over 2.5 years ago. The case was reopened, and DCYF began looking for Harmony. On September 10th, DCYF reached out to the school district to locate her, only to discover that Harmony had never been enrolled in school. Concern mounted as they attempted to contact both Adam and Kayla. However, Adam and Kayla managed to avoid DCYF's inquiries, causing the investigation to stall for a couple of months. It was during this time that Kayla had her final conversation with Adam. In November, things took a more serious turn. On November 18th, Crystal reported Harmony missing to the Manchester Police Department, prompting law enforcement to get involved. The police quickly contacted DCYF to initiate a deeper investigation into Harmony's whereabouts. By December 27th, after months of failed attempts to locate Harmony, DCYF notified the police that they could not find her either. The following day, on December 28th, the police spoke with Kayla. She claimed she had no idea where Harmony was, explaining that Adam had told her he returned Harmony to her mother around Thanksgiving of the previous year. Finally, on December 31st, 2021, Manchester police held a press conference that shook the community. They announced that Harmony Montgomery had not been seen since late 2019, and her prolonged absence was deeply concerning. They assured the public that an investigation was underway, launching the official missing persons case for Harmony Montgomery. That same day, police spoke with Kayla Montgomery again, and again she lied, saying that as far as she knew, Harmony was back with her mother. Adam Montgomery said the same, mounting pressure on Adam and Kayla. As 2022 began, law enforcement intensified their efforts to apply pressure on Adam and Kayla Montgomery. They had critical information at their disposal. Adam's uncle, Kevin, had provided a detailed account of Adam striking Harmony in July 2019, giving her a black eye. This incident became the linchpin for the charges against Adam. On January 4th, 2022, police arrested Adam Montgomery. He faced charges for second-degree assault for hitting Harmony in 2019, child endangerment in connection with her disappearance, and interference with custody. The next day, Kayla was arrested at the FIT shelter where she had been staying. Her charge? Felony welfare fraud. Despite Harmony being absent, Kayla had continued to collect welfare benefits for her, amounting to over $1,500, elevating the crime to a felony. Unable to post the $5,000 bail, Kayla was held in jail. As the investigation progressed, more charges were levied against Adam. On April 4th, 2022, he was arrested again, this time for his involvement in the 2019 theft of 2 firearms, including an AR-15 and a shotgun. As a felon, Adam wasn't legally allowed to possess weapons, so he was charged with multiple counts of receiving stolen property, being a felon in possession, and armed career criminal. By May 2022, the pressure had finally begun to crack Kayla. Called to testify before a grand jury, she provided a questionable account of Harmony's last known whereabouts, claiming Adam had dropped her off at Crystal's house in November 2019. Police quickly found inconsistencies in Kayla's story, uncovering that she hadn't worked at the Dunkin' Donuts location she claimed to be at on that day. 2 weeks later, she was charged with felony perjury. Facing mounting legal troubles and a collapsing relationship with Adam, Kayla decided to cooperate with the authorities. She entered into a proffer agreement, becoming the prosecution's star witness. For the first time, Kayla revealed the truth about Harmony's death and the subsequent concealment of her body. In exchange for her cooperation, Kayla would ultimately avoid any charges related to Harmony's death, but would plead guilty to perjury and serve 18 months in prison. With Kayla's testimony, investigators sprang into action. They searched Kayla's mother's home, seized a red cooler, and combed through the Montgomery's former apartment at 644 Union Street. They even tracked down the U-Haul used in the suspected disposal of Harmony's body. But the most damning evidence came from the FIT shelter. Investigators found significant decomposition stains and fluids in the ceiling vent where Adam had hidden Harmony's body. Forensic testing revealed fingerprints that matched Adam's, and DNA from the fluids confirmed Harmony's identity. On October 24, 2022, 10 months after the search for Harmony had gained public attention, Adam Montgomery was officially charged with her murder. Though the affidavit outlining the state's case against him remained sealed, the evidence collected painted a chilling picture of the horrific acts that had taken Harmony's life. Adam's fate now rested in the courts as he awaited trial, burdened by a growing list of charges. Adam Weapons Charges Trial, June 2023. In June of 2023, Adam Montgomery faced his first trial, this time for his weapons charges. Public defender Caroline Smith represented him in court, while the prosecution brought forward witnesses who testified that Adam had boasted about possessing the stolen firearms. Kayla Montgomery also took the stand during the trial. The jury found Adam guilty, marking him as an armed career criminal, a special designation under New Hampshire law. On August 7th, Judge Messer handed down a harsh sentence. Adam received 15 to 30 years for each of the armed career criminal charges, to be served consecutively. This added up to a 30 to 60-year sentence. On top of that, Adam was sentenced to 7.5 to 15 years for the theft charges, which were to be served concurrently, but after the initial 30 to 60-year sentence. Although 5 years could be suspended for good behavior, Adam's total sentence for the weapons charges ranged from 37.5 to 75 years. February 2024, Adam's murder trial. Adam's legal troubles escalated further in February 2024 as he awaited his murder trial, charged with the killing of his daughter, Harmony Montgomery. Caroline Smith, who had defended him in the weapons trial, continued to represent him in this much higher profile case. Adam waived his right to appear in court, leaving his attorney to defend him in his absence. In a video conference, Adam admitted guilt to 2 of the charges, falsifying physical evidence and abuse of a corpse, but denied responsibility for Harmony's murder. His defense strategy hinged on shifting blame to Kayla, claiming she was the last person to see Harmony alive. On the 2nd and 3rd days of the trial, Kayla Montgomery took the stand, becoming the star witness for the prosecution. Her testimony was devastating. She recounted how Adam had violently escalated his abuse of Harmony during the 10 days leading up to her death. Kayla, through tears and broken sobs, described Harmony's final moments, the little girl curled up in a fetal position, crying as her father beat her. Kayla also revealed Adam's erratic and paranoid behavior following Harmony's death, worsened by his crack cocaine use. She detailed how he destroyed phones, tablets, and other electronics, convinced that they were being used to spy on him. The prosecution called 47 witnesses over the course of the trial. Among them was Travis Beach, a close friend of Adam's who helped him rent the U-Haul van believed to have been used in disposing of Harmony's body. While none of the witnesses testified that Adam directly confessed to Harmony's murder, the circumstantial evidence built a strong case against him. After the state rested its case, the defense called no witnesses. Instead, they relied on cross-examination of the state's witnesses and closing arguments to make their case. Despite the defense's efforts, Prosecutor Benagatti's closing argument left a lasting impression, delivering a powerful condemnation of Adam's actions. Deliberations began on February 21, 2024, and by the next day, the jury had reached a unanimous verdict. Adam Montgomery was found guilty on all charges, sealing his fate as the man responsible for his daughter's tragic death. Adam Montgomery's sentencing. On May 9, 2024, the day had come for Adam Montgomery's sentencing. However, true to form, Adam attempted to avoid attending, asking his lawyer to represent him in his absence, just as he had done during the trial. This day, however, was crucial, as it was the moment when those affected by his crimes would have the opportunity to deliver victim impact statements. Outrage spread when word got out that Adam wanted to skip the hearing, so the court legally ordered him to attend, and attend he did. At the sentencing hearing, Prosecutor Benagatti delivered a powerful condemnation of Adam's horrific crimes. He outlined the extent of Adam's actions and made his sentencing recommendation. Then, in a surprise move, Agati made an offer. If the defendant will, right now, tell us where he hid her body, sufficient for us to find her, so that her family and the Manchester Police Department can recover her remains in the next 7 days. Then the state would amend its recommendation to 35 years to life and let the second-degree assault, falsifying physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, and witness tampering to be served concurrently. But Adam remained silent, refusing to accept the offer. Harmony's mother, Crystal Sorey, gave an emotional victim impact statement, pouring out her grief. Harmony's little brother, Jameson, also spoke, represented by his adoptive fathers, Blair and Jonathan Miller, in a heart-wrenching moment for the family. Despite being given the opportunity, Adam made no statement. His lawyer, Caroline Smith, reiterated that Adam continued to maintain his innocence regarding the murder charge and planned to appeal the conviction. Judge Amy Messer then addressed the court. She recounted Adam's long and violent criminal history, noting that the egregious nature of his crimes warranted a harsh sentence to ensure the safety of others. Messer declared, "At this point, the court has the responsibility to impose a sentence that not only punishes you harshly for the crimes that you have committed, but considers deterrence, that is, how to keep you from hurting others. In light of the egregious nature of the crimes of which you have been convicted in this case, and taking into consideration your extremely violent criminal history, the court finds the only way to do this is to keep you off the streets." Judge Messer followed the prosecution's recommendation, sentencing Adam to 56 years to life on top of his previous weapons charge sentence. Even with reductions for good behavior or parole, Adam Montgomery won't be eligible for release until he is over 100 years old, effectively ensuring he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Just 1 week later, on May 15, 2024, Kayla Montgomery was released from prison on parole, having cooperated with the state in Adam's trial. Harmony's lasting legacy. Harmony had a short and terrible life. Despite the odds stacked against her, she managed to make a beautiful impression with her foster family, the Rafterys, with whom she spent more time than anyone. Michelle Raftery said that Harmony was an independent toddler. She enjoyed playing with dolls and playing with her peers. She had a well-developed language, and she liked books. She was very active. She was empathetic and charming. She ate all kinds of foods, including fruits, vegetables, and even onions. She would sometimes play in a vegetable garden and pick cherry tomatoes and cucumbers. And despite her physical disabilities, she had a knack for overcoming challenges. Harmony's death was senseless and preventable. Kayla could have stopped this. She had a front seat to the escalating abuse against her and the deterioration of her domestic situation. Hopefully, the mercy she received is something that she doesn't take for granted. The next time she is confronted with an ethical dilemma involving a child, I hope she chooses to protect that child. It's a shame that Jameson's parents, who wanted to adopt Harmony too, were never given that chance. Somehow the system chose Adam over them. But I hope that Harmony's death has created a path towards lasting change. Her death caused a reevaluation of the system, an inquiry of whether or not it's serving the children it is entrusted to protect. Harmony's death may make a difference for the next Harmony Montgomery. That child may not even know it until they are fully grown, but hopefully, 20 years from now, when they are adults, and they look back on the reformed system that placed them with a supportive and loving adoptive family, that they have someone to thank. They can thank Harmony.